Sitting alone in my tiny studio apartment on Christmas Eve, I could hear fireworks exploding in the distance while families celebrated around Portland. The silence in my space felt heavier than usual, especially after that phone call from Mom 3 days ago. We decided not to invite you this year, Hope. You know how these family gatherings work. While my parents and golden sister Sophia were probably laughing over dinner right now, I was staring at my laptop screen trying to focus on freelance work instead of the ache in my chest. Little did I know, Christmas morning would bring a phone call that would change everything. Before I dive into the story, I would love to know where you are watching from tonight. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you want to hear more real stories like this. Now, let me tell you how one phone call turned my family's world completely upside down. Growing up in Denver, Colorado, I always knew I was different from the rest of my family. My father, Robert, worked as a mechanical engineer for an aerospace company, while my mother, Patricia, taught high school English. They were both practical, successful people who valued achievement above almost everything else. I was their first child, born on a snowy February morning in 1995. 3 years later, my sister Sophia arrived, and from that moment forward, everything changed in ways I could not have imagined as a child. The comparison started early and never stopped. When I brought home a report card with mostly A grades and one A minus, my parents would immediately focus on that single imperfect mark. Why not an A+ in mathematics? Hope you are clearly capable of better. But when Sophia brought home B+ grades with a few regular B marks mixed in, the response was completely different. Good job, sweetheart. We are so proud of your effort. The double standard was obvious even to my young mind, but I learned to accept it as normal family dynamics. In high school, I discovered my passion for computer science and programming. While my classmates were struggling with basic HTML, I was already building complex websites and learning multiple programming languages. My parents viewed this interest as antisocial behavior. Hope spends too much time with those computers, my mother would tell relatives. She needs to be more like Sophia, who is such a people person. Meanwhile, Sophia focused on cheerleading, student government, and marketing club activities. Everything she did was celebrated as preparation for future success. When college application time arrived, I chose to study computer science at Oregon State University. My parents barely acknowledged this achievement despite the partial scholarship I earned. Sophia decided on marketing at University of Colorado, and suddenly, our house was filled with excited conversations about her bright future in business. Sophia has such natural charisma, Dad would say during family dinners. She is going to be incredibly successful in the corporate world. After graduation, I moved to Portland and started working for a mid-sized tech company. The work was challenging and rewarding, but my parents never seemed interested in hearing about my projects or achievements. When I got promoted to senior developer, they changed the subject. When Sophia landed her first marketing coordinator position at a Denver firm, they threw her a celebration party and invited the entire extended family. 3 days before this Christmas, everything came to a devastating head with that phone call from Mom. I had just finished debugging a complex e-commerce platform for a client when my phone rang around 7:30 in the evening. "Hope, honey, we need to talk," Mom said in that particular tone she used when delivering bad news. "What is going on, Mom?" I asked, setting down my coffee cup. "Well, your father and I have been discussing Christmas dinner this year, and we have decided to keep it small. Family only." I felt confused because I thought I was family. But I am family, Mom. I have been planning to drive down from Portland just like every other year. There was a long pause before she continued. "You know what I mean, Hope. This year we want to focus on celebrating family members who have their lives together. People who are really succeeding and making us proud." The words hit me like a physical blow to my stomach. "What are you saying exactly?" "Well, you just got laid off from that computer company because of downsizing, right? And you are still single, living in that tiny apartment doing freelance work that might not even last. Sophia just received a promotion to senior marketing manager at her firm. We want to celebrate real achievements this year. People who are actually winning at life." I sat there in stunned silence, processing what my own mother had just said to me. She was uninviting me from Christmas because she considered me a failure compared to my perfect sister. The pattern that had defined my entire relationship with my family was now complete. "Okay, Mom." I finally managed to say, my voice surprisingly steady. "I understand. I knew you would be reasonable about this, Hope. Maybe next year things will be different for you." After hanging up, I sat in my apartment feeling a strange mixture of heartbreak and relief. This was not the first time I had been made to feel like the family disappointment. but it was certainly the most direct rejection I had ever experienced. Part of me wanted to call back and fight for my place at that table, but another part of me, the part that had been quietly growing stronger over the years, felt oddly liberated by their honesty. I decided to embrace spending Christmas alone rather than begging for acceptance from people who clearly did not value me. I ordered Chinese takeout, opened a bottle of wine, and settled into work on a website project for a bakery in Seattle. The freelance work had been keeping me busier than my parents realized, and the independence felt empowering in a way I had never experienced before. Christmas Eve passed quietly in my studio apartment. I could hear other families in my building celebrating, children laughing, music playing. Through my thin walls, life seemed full of warmth and connection. I checked Instagram once and immediately regretted it. There was Sophia posting stories from our family home showing elaborate meal preparations and perfectly wrapped presents. Her caption read, "Family time is the best time. So grateful for these people." The irony was not lost on me. Christmas morning arrived with unusual quietness. Portland was covered in a light dusting of snow, and most of the city seemed to be sleeping in after late-night celebrations. I made myself coffee and settled back into work mode, determined to finish the bakery website before the afternoon. Around 8:30, my phone started ringing with an unknown Colorado number. "Hope, oh my God, I'm so glad you picked up." Sophia's voice came through the speaker, but something was completely different about her tone. Instead of her usual confident, bubbly manner, she sounded panicked and desperate. "Sophia, what is wrong? You sound upset. I need your help, like really desperately need your help right now. I know this is super last minute and probably weird timing, but I am in serious trouble, and you are literally the only person who can save me." This conversation was taking a turn I never could have predicted. Sophia had never asked me for help with anything in our entire lives. She was the golden child who had everything figured out. "Remember, what kind of trouble are you talking about?" "Okay, so you know how I have been applying to graduate school programs, right? Well, I got accepted to Stanford Business School for their MBA program, which is like amazing and life-changing and everything I have ever wanted." Her words were tumbling out rapidly the way they did when she was nervous. "That sounds great, Sophia. Congratulations. But here's the problem. I completely forgot about this technical portfolio requirement that is part of the final application process. They want to see evidence of digital marketing skills and web development capabilities. The deadline is today, Hope, today. As in, I have to submit everything by midnight tonight, or I lose my spot in the program." I was starting to understand where this conversation was heading, and I did not like the direction. "What exactly are you asking me to do?" "I need you to build me a complete website portfolio. Something that shows I can handle digital marketing campaigns, e-commerce platforms, user experience design, all that technical stuff. You are good with computer things, right? This should be pretty easy for you to throw together." The casual way she said, "throw together," made my eye twitch. Building a professional portfolio website was not something you could just throw together in a few hours. It was weeks of work involving strategy design, development, content creation, and testing. "Sophia, what you are describing is probably 40 to 50 hours of professional development work minimum. But you do not have anything else to do today, right? I mean, you are not even at Christmas dinner or anything." The comment landed like a slap across my face. Look, this MBA will set me up for life. Stanford Business School. Can you imagine how incredible this opportunity is for me? I took a deep breath, trying to process the absolute audacity of what was happening. "Have you thought about payment for this work? Professional web development is not cheap." Sophia actually laughed. "Payment. We are sisters. Family helps family hope. Besides, this is going to benefit both of us. Once I am successful, it will reflect well on our whole family." The irony was overwhelming. I was not family enough to be invited to Christmas dinner, but suddenly I was family when she needed free professional services worth thousands of dollars. "Tell me more about this portfolio requirement, Sophia. What specifically does Stanford want to see?" "Oh, you are the best. I knew you would help me." Her voice immediately brightened, assuming I had agreed to bail her out. "They want to see a fully functional website that demonstrates digital marketing expertise, customer engagement strategies, social media integration, e-commerce capabilities, and mobile responsiveness. Basically, everything that proves I can handle the technical side of modern business." After we hung up, I sat staring at my laptop screen for several minutes, processing what had just happened. The pattern was so familiar, it almost made me laugh. Whenever Sophia encountered a problem she could not solve herself, Suddenly, I became valuable to the family. Need help with math homework in high school? Call Hope. Computer virus on the laptop? Ask Hope to fix it. Confused about student loan applications? Hope will figure it out. But when it came to being included, supported, or celebrated, radio silence. I decided to do some research before making any decisions. Opening a new browser window, I searched for Stanford MBA application requirements specifically for their marketing track program. After 20 minutes of careful reading through official university websites and program documentation, I made an interesting discovery. Technical portfolio requirements were only mandatory for students entering the technology management track, not the general marketing program that Sophia had described. Curious now, I decided to do some deeper investigation into what my sister was actually planning. I pulled up her Instagram account and started scrolling through recent posts. 3 weeks ago, there was a photo of her at a coffee shop with the caption, "Working on my amazing new startup idea. So excited to be an entrepreneur." 2 weeks ago, meeting with potential investors today. Dreams are becoming reality. 1 week ago, looking for a technical co-founder for my revolutionary e-commerce platform. Everything suddenly clicked into place. Sophia was not applying to Stanford Business School at all. She was trying to launch a startup company and needed someone to build her entire technical platform for free. She had seen my freelance work online and realized I was making good money from web development. Instead of hiring a professional development team, she wanted to manipulate me into providing months of work without any compensation. I called Sophia back within an hour, my mind crystal clear about how this conversation was going to go. "Hope, did you start working on the website? Yet I am getting so nervous about the deadline." "Actually, Sophia, I looked into Stanford's MBA requirements a little more carefully. The marketing track does not require a technical portfolio. Want to try explaining that?" There was a long pause on the other end of the line. Well, maybe I misunderstood the requirements. You know how confusing these application processes can be." Cut the act, Sophia. "I saw your Instagram posts about starting a company and looking for technical co-founders. You are not going to Stanford. You want me to build an entire e-commerce platform for your startup idea, and you thought you could trick me into doing it for free by lying about graduate school." The silence stretched for nearly 30 seconds before she finally broke down. "Okay, fine. Yes, I am starting my own business. But Hope, I saw your freelance work online, and you are making really good money doing this stuff. I thought maybe we could work together on something amazing." Work together implies partnership and shared profits. What you are describing is me doing all the technical work while you take all the credit and ownership. But we could be business partners? A real family business? I handle the marketing and business development, you handle all the technical stuff. It would be perfect. Her voice had that manipulative sweetness she used when she wanted something. Business partners split profits equally and make decisions together. Family members get invited to Christmas dinner. You have made it clear I do not qualify for either category in your mind. That is totally different, Hope. This is about our future, about building something incredible together. I took a deep breath and delivered my response with complete professional calm. "Sophia, I will help you with your startup, but this is going to be a business transaction, not a family favor." "What do you mean?" "I mean, you are going to pay my standard professional rates for web development services. I charge $150 per hour for full-stack development work. Based on what you are describing, a complete e-commerce platform, with all the features you mentioned, would require approximately 200 hours of work. That comes to $30,000. The gasp on the other end of the phone was audible. $30,000. But we are sisters. You just said we should be business partners. These are standard industry rates for this type of work. I can show you websites of other developers who charge the same amounts. Take it or leave it, Sophia. I have other clients waiting for my services." "Hope, that is completely ridiculous. I cannot afford to pay that kind of money. You are being totally unreasonable." "What is unreasonable is expecting me to work for free while you build a company that could make you hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit. What is unreasonable is calling me antisocial and uninviting me from Christmas, then expecting me to drop everything to save your business plan." Within minutes, my phone was ringing again. This time, it was a conference call with both my parents. "Hope, your sister tells us you are demanding some outrageous amount of money to help with her website." Dad's voice came through sternly. "This is exactly the kind of selfish behavior that makes family gatherings difficult." "Really, Dad's selfish behavior? Let me ask you something. When you work as an engineer, do you do it for free because your employer calls you family?" "That is completely different, and you know it," Mom interrupted. This is about helping your sister achieve her dreams. She has a real opportunity here to build something successful. And what about my dreams? What about my success? Do either of you have any idea what I actually do for work or how much money I make? We know you do computer stuff and you got laid off, Dad said dismissively. The point is, Sophia is building something legitimate, a real business with real potential. This was the moment I had been waiting for my entire adult life. The moment to finally speak my truth and watch their assumptions crumble. Dad, Mom, let me share some information with you. Last year, my freelance web development business generated $180,000 in revenue. That antisocial computer stuff, I out-earned Dad's engineering salary by $30,000. The silence on the phone was deafening. And Sophia's big promotion that you were so excited to celebrate at Christmas, I looked it up. Senior marketing manager at her company pays $55,000 per year. So please tell me again about who is successful and who has their life together in this family. That cannot be right, Mom whispered. You live in that tiny apartment and you got laid off. I live in a studio apartment because I travel constantly for work and I prefer investing my money rather than impressing people with expensive rent. I got laid off because the entire tech industry went through massive downsizing and it was the best thing that ever happened to me because it forced me to go fully independent. My current client waiting list is booked solid for the next 6 months. Hope. Sophia's voice was small and shaky. My rate stands, Sophia. $30,000 for a complete e-commerce platform, or you can find another developer and pay them the same amount. Business is business. I hung up the phone and felt something I had never experienced before in my relationship with my family. Complete and total peace. For the first time in my life, I had advocated for my own worth instead of accepting their diminished view of my value. The family group chat exploded with messages over the next several hours. Extended relatives who had been included in Christmas dinner were suddenly taking sides. Cousin Jake, who worked in tech sales, messaged me privately. I had no idea you were killing it like that, Hope. Good for you for standing up to them. Aunt Linda, my mother's sister, posted in the group chat. I always thought Hope was the smartest one in the family. Maybe it is time everyone else figured that out too. But there were also messages of criticism. Uncle Ron wrote, family should help family without money getting involved. My grandmother chimed in with, in my day, sisters supported each other no matter what. The divide was clear, but I no longer cared about winning approval from people who had never bothered to understand my life. Sophia eventually hired a development firm in Denver to build her platform. The quote they gave her was $35,000, and they required a 50% deposit up front. She had to take out a business loan and give up 20% equity to an investor to afford the work. Her startup launched 6 months later and failed within a year due to poor market research and unrealistic business planning. 2 weeks after New Year's, Mom called me with a very different tone than I had heard in years. Hope, honey, maybe we were too harsh about Christmas. Your father and I have been talking, and we think we might have misunderstood your situation. Maybe too harsh, I repeated. Mom, you called me a loser and uninvited me from Christmas because you thought I was unsuccessful. Then when you needed my professional skills, you expected me to work for free. Which part exactly are you reconsidering? We did not realize you were doing so well financially. We are proud of you for building your business. I appreciate that, but being proud of me only after learning about my income is not the same as accepting me as I am. I need you to understand something going forward. If you want my professional services, you pay my rates. If you want my love and presence at family gatherings, you treat me with the same respect and inclusion you give Sophia. These are not negotiable conditions. The conversation was difficult, but it established boundaries that should have existed decades earlier. I would no longer accept being valued only when convenient and dismissed when not needed. My worth as a family member was not dependent on their approval of my lifestyle or their understanding of my career. Over the following months, I joined a local tech community group in Portland and discovered a whole network of people who appreciated both my technical skills and my personality. These were folks who understood the value of good development work and never expected free labor disguised as family obligations. I started dating Marcus, a fellow developer who had also experienced family members expecting free technical support. We bonded over stories of relatives who thought building websites was as simple as making a PowerPoint presentation. Most importantly, I learned to advocate for myself in every relationship, not just with family. When friends asked for quick favors that involved hours of work, I politely explained my rates. When potential romantic partners showed red flags about respecting my time and boundaries, I addressed issues immediately, instead of hoping they would change. The confidence I gained from standing up to my family transformed every other area of my life. Now, almost 2 years later, my relationship with my parents has evolved into something more honest, if not perfect. They include me in holiday gatherings because they want me there, not because they feel obligated. Sophia and I have developed a cordial but distant relationship. She respects my professional boundaries, and I no longer expect her to suddenly become the supportive sister I wished for during childhood. The Christmas I spent alone turned out to be the most valuable gift I could have given myself. It taught me that my worth is not determined by my family's opinion of my life choices. Sometimes the people who should love you unconditionally are the last to recognize your value. Setting boundaries is not selfish behavior. It is necessary self-preservation and self-respect. That Christmas taught me being alone with dignity beats being included without respect every single time. Your value as a person does not decrease based on someone else's inability to see your worth, even when that someone is family. Now, every relationship in my life is built on mutual respect rather than convenience, and I have never been happier. What about you? Have you ever had to set boundaries with family members who took your skills or time for granted? Have you experienced being valued only when people needed something from you? I would love to hear your stories in the comments below. Please give this video a like if it resonated with your own experiences, and subscribe for more real-life stories about standing up for yourself and building healthy relationships. Share this with anyone who might need to hear that their worth is not determined by family approval. Thank you for listening to my story, and remember that you deserve respect in every relationship, especially with the people who claim to love you most.